Hit record now. Welcome.
Recording in progress.
Welcome, everyone. Great to be with you. Thanks for joining this and being interested in Satori and self-inquiry. We are excited to run this event to give you a taste of the self-inquiry, which is the technique, the communication technique that we use in Satori. And we're also going to talk to you a bit more about the Satori Retreat. And, Avi's going to go into a little bit more detail around that in just a moment. We're just, as I said, recording this piece. We'll stop the recording in a while so that we can go into private practice. So I'm going to introduce a good friend and mentor and teacher, and he hates all those titles. He's been running this retreat for 27 years, so he should really know what he's doing by now, or not.
I'm not so sure about that.
his passion for Satori has really inspired all of us, and that's why we're here and dedicated to the process and facilitating it and supporting it. So, Avi, I'll just throw straight to you if you want to tell us a little bit more about Satori and some of your experience
Sure,
around it.
sure. But first, I want to start with demystifying the idea about self-inquiry. Self-inquiry is not a technique. Self-inquiry is a miracle that has to do with our human evolution. We are the first species that has the capacity to ask questions. We are the first species that has, in the evolution of animals and plants and the planet and the stars and whatever, we seem to be the first one who actually can take something, including ourselves, and make it an object of investigation. So self-inquiry is actually our nature. It's not a technique. It's our capacity for self-reflection. We continuously do self-inquiry, even when we are not aware of it. We are walking and looking at the sky and say, oh, that's beautiful. But the moment that we say that's beautiful is because already we had a question inside, how do I experience aesthetically that? Yeah. So the question might not be logical or rational or conscious, however, it is there. So to begin with, I want to make it clear, this is a miracle of being human. That's what self-inquiry is about. From the spiritual point of view, at some point, humanity, through different mystical approaches, started focusing on particular questions, which are called the existential questions. The existential questions are questions that we all ask, even though we might not do it consciously, but we do it. Who am I? Who is living this life? What is life? What is love? What is freedom? What is beauty? What is another? What am I doing here? So these questions, which in Japan has been called koans, are questions that we cannot answer intellectually because they are existential. So it's something that we can experience, we can taste, we can feel, we can embody, but there is never going to be an answer that is purely cognitive, purely intellectual that will satisfy us. And you know that because you probably ask yourself, am I in love or not? And you went like, oh, how can I answer this question with an idea, with a concept? Am I alive or not? How can I answer this question with just words? Or you know that you are alive, or you know that you are in love, or not. It's an experience. It's not an idea. From my personal story, I was 26 when, for the first time, during an evening meeting with a friend, she asked me what was the most important thing in my life, and I found myself hearing myself for the first time saying clearly the only thing that matters for me is to find out who I am. And I was surprised that what? I was not surprised about the thing in itself, because that's something that I had felt many times, but I was surprised to say it aloud. And that makes all the difference. Because the moment that I said it and I heard it, there was a fundamental shift in my energy field. And I felt, and I still feel, that everything started aligning with that intention, with that passion. I want to know who I am. Have I succeeded? No. Not in the sense that I have come to the place where I realize that knowing who I am does not have an end, does not have a final point, is a continuous abundance of surprises, discoveries, challenges, beautiful moment, painful moment, terrible moments, where I keep recognizing myself as this consciousness embodied in this very unique person that is this, as it is embodied in every unique you that are here now. So what is Satori? Satori is actually a space, an opportunity to unmask oneself, to take away the pretensions, the ideas, the concept. What does it mean to be a man? What does it mean to be a woman? What does it mean to be a seeker? What does it mean to be alive? And to really start cleaning up through the communication, through the exposure, everything that is being attached to this moment, everything that has been put to cover this moment with ideas and concepts and beliefs and the should and should not. So that little by little, basically communication works as a deep cleaning process. One of the things that Zen master found out was that mind is also the accumulation of material that has not been communicated, that's been put down into the cellar, into the unconscious. So what we do in Satori is that we open this cellar, we give ourselves permission to be and express whatever we are in that moment, no matter what. And by doing that, something starts kind of being cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. And in that cleanliness, there is a flow. And the flow is the flow and unfolding of your presence in the moment. So it is about really allowing oneself to arrive in the moment, whatever the moment is, and to communicate it without holding back, without trying to correct it, without make it more palatable for other people. So it's a moment of freedom and liberation, and it takes the passion and the commitment to be yourself. And as you are here, I assume that you have that. It takes the intention to actually embody yourself completely and being seen, being really, really seen, which is something that we try to avoid. No, it's not so important. I don't. But actually, we all want to be seen. And that's a very intelligent thing. But the point is, can we do it openly? Can we do it taking a risk? Because if I want to be seen, I need to make myself vulnerable, so the other one can see me. So this is what the process of Satori is about. Communicating, being seen, being available, showing up, and cleaning up. And when we do that, something starts really coming back home. So the more we actually give, the more we fall back into our source. And that's the miracle of this retreat, of this technique. I don't have much else to say. I think that's plenty. I just only want to add the fact that you're going to start with a particular question, which is something that we consider a kind of transition question. And the question is, tell me who you are without your story. There is a difference between history and story. History is what happened. The facts, the events, the accidents, whatever happened in a particular situation. The story is how each of us interprets that history. So something happens, let's say, in my family, my mom and me, and then I take that piece of history and I look at it through my own subjective perspective, and I create a story. Chapter number 1. And then I put chapter number 2 and number 3, and until I have thousands of chapters that form the book of my story. So the book of your story is your creative action to define yourself in time and space. So there is nothing wrong with it. You look back and say, oh yeah, in that situation, and that situation, and that situation, therefore I know who I am. That's your story. Those are just interpretation, just chapters of your book. They are valuable for you, and probably also maybe they're valuable for other people, but it's just a story. It's not the truth. It's a relative truth. If you ask somebody else, like a sibling, how he or she lived in the same history, you will get a completely different story. So be aware of that. When we say, tell me who you are without your story, there is no judgment about the story, but there is a question of attachment to the story. And the attachment to the story takes us away from the present moment, because in the present moment, I have no story. Right here, right now, I am who I am. It doesn't depend on who I was a minute ago. If I'm present, I'm just this pure presence right now. And the same is true for each one of you. So have fun. And if you need to struggle a little bit with your story, struggle a little bit with your story. If you, that's okay. But be available to see, who am I without my story? If in this moment, I'm just right here. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share myself. I really appreciate that.